Electroheads, my name's Eilis and this is Stockholm. I'm here for just over 24 hours to try out the brand new electric bike from VÄSSLA. Now, as you can see, this is Scandinavian simplicity at its core. This has been thoughtfully designed with minimalism and precision. And I am going to be taking this out for a test ride and I'm so excited to try it out. But there's one thing about VÄSSLA that really interests me, and that there's a new kind of ownership that can come with these electric bikes, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, whilst I also give you the lowdown on this. So, let's get started. Let me introduce you to the VÄSSLA Pedal. So this is a single speed electric bike and it has 3 levels of assist. So there are no gears involved, but let me tell you, you do not need those gears. This thing is torquey. It has a 250 watt motor that has a max output of 45 Newton meters of torque. And that is essentially the torqueiest electric bike you're gonna get for a 250 watt motor. So this is all legal, of course. This can go up to 20 kilometers per hour in regulation with Swedish law, but that of course changes where you go. The wheel size for this bike is 24 inches, but as you can see here, there are some chunky tires, and this is going to be soaking up a load of different terrain that you're going to get in and out of the city. And it just means that despite there not being any suspension, that you're still able to ride really, really comfortably. Coming around to the back, and as you can see, there is a carbon belt drive. So this obviously goes in line with the fact that this is a single speed, and what this means is that compared to a chain, this is pretty much maintenance free. You barely need to be doing anything with this compared to your standard bike chain. And it also is a lot more resistant as well to wear and tear and to all that strain that you're putting on it when you're cycling. So this is great in terms of keeping maintenance low. Staying around the back here, and you can see that there is a back rack. Back rack? How do you say it? A rear rack. Was it the Cat in the Hat? Let me tell you about the rear rack on the back, and let me give you the... Oh, so you smack. Integrated into the bike, you also get lights front and rear. You've also got a lovely reflector here as well to keep you safe and visible during nighttime riding. And what's really cool about VÄSSLA and how they've designed this electric bike is the fact that it's modular. So you're able to also put a front rack here as well, which you can also integrate onto it a basket as well. So if you're going shopping, you're able to take that basket off and go with you. And also, to make it even more user-friendly, you can also get a child seat fixed to the rear. So VÄSSLA really have thought about who's going to be riding this bike and who it's going to cater for.
The weight of the pedal comes in at a chunkier 19 kilograms. It is the lightest offering yet from VÄSSLA. However, for someone like myself who lives up 3 flights of stairs without a lift, this would prove to be an issue for me. But VÄSSLA have put some handy features in place should you need to lock your bike in a slightly more public space. And it doesn't stop there. There's even talks of bespoke locking nuts being fitted onto the wheels to really curb thieves. I really hope to see this, as the more integrated anti-theft features, the better.
You're goddamn right.
The range claim on the pedal is up to 100 kilometers on one charge, and that's all thanks to VÄSSLA's very own in-house battery design team with trusty Samsung cells. This is what I love about VÄSSLA. Their rides are 100% designed, engineered and developed in Sweden. But keep in mind, the range will vary depending on terrain, temperature and rider weight, with the max for this bike being 120 kilograms.
VÄSSLA have also really kept safety and anti-theft features in mind. So for example, they haven't included a quick release on the seat here, which just deters theft, of course. You also get a removable battery as well. So whenever you lock up, you can take that battery with you, which just makes it far less of an opportunity for thieves. And finally, there is geo-tracking that is fitted down here so that you are able to track your bike in real time. And if anybody tries to steal your bike, you're going to be alerted to it.
One thing to note, I've been very lucky to be one of the first to try the VÄSSLA Pedal. This is a prototype fresh from the development team, so I've been assured the welding isn't as clean as the finished product will be, and that some of the parts are still subject to change, such as the saddle, pedals and the kickstand, amongst other things.
If you haven't heard of VÄSSLA before, they are a Swedish company who are set up here in Stockholm, Paris and Madrid with a few other options available. They've got a little electric moped that you can get and also an electric bike without pedals. So this is the third offering from VÄSSLA and I am blown away. The first thing that I noticed is the power of this motor. So this is a 45 Newton meter max torque output from the 250 watt motor, and it really packs a punch. And the fact that this has a torque sensor means that every little tiny push of the pedal that you make, whether it be more or less, it really responds to that to give this beautiful natural assistance that you get. And despite this bike having absolutely no suspension, it is not needed. VÄSSLA have been so clever in terms of just trying to reduce the weight that suspension brings and making up for it by getting these chunky tyres involved. These really do soak up so much in terms of the terrain. They were saying as well that not only does this work fantastic on tarmac, but you can take it on more cobbled terrain, and all you can do to kind of make it a bit more comfortable is just by releasing a little bit of air pressure in the tyres to help soak up that extra bit of rockiness. You may have noticed as well, we are on Swedish cycle lanes, and my God, what a difference it makes being on these compared to London. In London, it is basically every man for themselves. Cycle lanes are a part of the road. Sometimes they just stop and you're integrated with the cars. Here, it's so much more segregated. There is so much more space and you just feel so much safer. And I'm just noticing there are so many more people on micromobility here, and that's because the infrastructure is clearly so much better. We just need to be a bit more like Sweden, to be honest. VÄSSLA wanted to make an electric bike that is buttons and switches free, and so what they've done is they've integrated all the controls into their very own app. And what I love about this is that it just makes the bike look so clean and polished. You can download the app on your phone, and what you can do is you can adjust the 3 levels of assist. You can look at how far your journey is. There's even a security feature in it as well where you can lock your bike, and there's also anti-theft systems in there as well. Being able to adjust those 3 levels of assist means that you don't feel like you're being held back by having a single speed. And I'm going up a slight incline and I'm not breaking a sweat. This is taking all the resistance, all the hard sweat and work that you need to do with a non-electric bike, and it's making this a dream to ride. But you can also ride this without any electrical assistance as well. It's really, really natural in terms of how the single belt drive works when there isn't any assistance, which means that you can also get a little bit of exercise if you want. You can ride home, no assistance. The way that they've tuned this is just magnificent, and actually you can fine tune it yourself to give it more or less tension. In fact, I'm going to show you right now. I've turned off this bike and I'm pedaling up a hill, and cycling with this, with the single speed, with no assistance, I can still do it. VÄSSLA have done a superb job in tuning this thing. I'm going to switch on now. Let's just see how it changes. So there's a lovely little button on the side here. It's turned on. Woo! There we go. There's the assistance. Look, I'm going to see you later. Bye. This is level 1, guys. Assistance 1.
That's practically 0.
Sorry guys, I was having a little bit too much fun there, and I forgot that this prototype was only functioning with level 3 assist. So correction, this is not level 1. This is the pedal in full power mode. My bad.
One of the reasons why VÄSSLA chose 24-inch tyres instead of your standard 26 is the fact that it actually means that they could make the frame of this bike just a little bit lower, which means it caters for a slightly smaller denomination of riders. So this bike can take people from 5'1" upwards. So that means that this really does cater to a very large population, a very large percentage. I think this Swedish air is getting to me.
Are you high?
I've ridden a lot of electric bikes in my time, but this is definitely up there in terms of performance, in terms of comfort and definitely looks. In terms of the torquiness, I mean, this is as much power as you're gonna be able to get for a legal electric bike, and my God, it really pushes when you need it to. And also comfort, the way that the touch points have been designed, it's been designed to relieve the stress on your neck and your wrists, and I really feel like I could just ride this all day because it's really fun, and also it's just super adaptable to every kind of terrain that we've been taking it on. And I know that we shouldn't really talk about looks being a thing because, you know,
it's all subjective.
But when it comes to something like this, I mean, you want a good looking bike, don't you? Especially when you're spending the money on it. As this is a premium priced electric bike, this does of course come with all the most premium parts that you could get. So the brakes on this are hydraulic, and what does that mean? Well, it just means that they are really sharp, they respond beautifully, and it also means that you just need to do a light touch to make them really work. Okay, should we try it? Get some speed? Whoa! Whoa! Yeah, boy! And that's exactly what you need when you're going about in the city. People are jumping left, right, and centre and everywhere. You've got to be quick to the mark, guys. So, I mentioned earlier about a different style of ownership with VÄSSLA, and that is that these guys offer subscription. So this gives a customer the opportunity to pay for the usage of an electric bike rather than the ownership of an electric bike. And why I think this is a really smart idea is because something like this costs in the thousands, and there are so many of you in the comments that when I review a bike that costs over £1,000, understandably, a fair few of you say, well, Eilish, I can't afford this. This is a beautiful solution to that. You are able to own a sort of 3,000 plus electric bike for a fraction of the cost. And they offer different levels of subscription. So you can get sort of a flex, which is for a month, and it's kind of like a rolling contract and goes all the way up to paying for 6 months. And I think you must be able to get discount, obviously, if you pay for 6 months rather than 1 month. And what this means as well is you also get a lot of extras included. So you get maintenance, servicing, you get a helmet, a lock, you get loads of extra stuff, which means that all the worries and hassle that can come with owning an electric bike just dissipate away. And if you lock up your bike and take the battery with you, then VÄSSLA say if it gets stolen and you have the battery, you don't need to pay for anything. I mean, that is huge, because that is something that we all worry about when owning an electric bike, is locking it up and leaving it. Is it going to be there when I get back? VÄSSLA takes all that worry away. For those of you where this amazing electric bike is available, make sure to check out our affiliate link. We have organised a very good deal with VÄSSLA themselves so that you can bag yourself a pedal. As fuel prices surge, inflation rises, and a train strike seems to be happening pretty much every single day now.
Every fucking day.
Leasing an electric bike could be the answer to the struggles of expenses of daily life. Let's talk about petrol, for example. It's so expensive these days, and actually it's just really terrible for the environment. How rubbish is it having to try and park your car and there be absolutely no parking in the centre of town, and congestion as well. It just makes you want to lose the will to live. And also sometimes just jumping on some public transport or sweating it out on a non-electric bike just isn't quite right for the occasion that you're going to. Getting one of these could be the answer. I really do believe that electric bikes are headed into their golden era, and if there's more availability, more options and payment options available, it just makes it far more accessible to everyone. There are a lot of people who understandably don't want to be riding their bikes in the winter and don't really have anywhere to store them, and I think that's where subscription can really come in handy, because you can kind of dip your toes in the e-bike waters and get a feel for it in the warmer summer months. And then suddenly you're going to catch the bug, and then you're going to realise that you're onto something, and then you're going to be there extending your contract and thinking, why isn't everyone else doing this? Now don't get me wrong, there are definitely cushier wheels and rides available, but this is designed for the commuter, for the individual who wants to be getting about the city and getting about quickly and with as little effort as possible. And this really does tick all those boxes. And so we end where we began, by the beautiful Swedish waters. No, but honestly, I have been so impressed with the capabilities of the pedal today. I've had so much fun riding it around this beautiful city. And it just goes to show, despite having a bulky frame and a heftier price tag, electric bikes can be a little bit of a put off in that sense. I think when you get on one of these things and you really experience the joy of electric that we bang on about here at Electroheads, it all just makes sense, and you're going to forgive the slightly heavier frame for that power that is delivered through the motor. And being able to ride electric bikes like this of all sorts and sizes, it just kind of makes you realise that there is a bike for everybody, and this in particular I feel is just a beautiful accompaniment for somebody who needs to be getting around the city, and it's a great swap in for a lot of people who might be using their car instead for most of the time. So the fact that there is a subscription available for a bike like this means that you can dip your toes in the water, you can have a try, you can see if it takes your fancy, and you're getting a luxurious electric bike at a fraction of the cost. So it makes so much sense. Does it make sense to you guys? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Is this a little bit of you? I'd love to know more. I am sold, and I really hope VÄSSLA comes to London very soon. All right guys, thank you so much for watching. Do make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video today. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all soon.